The stock market is going crazy and interest rates are coming off of their record lows, and it seems like the housing market's about to pop like it's the bubble in 2008. I'm Brian and from Realty World in Radcliffe, and that's what today's show is about, the fear of taking your next steps. If you like this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel so that you'll be notified whenever I release any future videos. The Great Recession was a scary time for many Americans, and once the unemployment started to creep up, many of them were unable to make payments to their mortgages. And once that started happening, there was a strain on our financial systems, and it became like a global domino set that started to tip over, and once that was going, it was like Atlas Shrugged and the whole thing started falling down. And the euphoria of the quickly rising home prices quickly ended, with many homeowners left standing once that music stopped. And here we are in 2022, and home prices have been rocketing to the Mars faster than Elon Musk and SpaceX. And we're left wondering now that as housing prices are starting to slow down, we're seeing that the buyers are not there, the days on market are increasing, and the prices are just starting to stabilize. We're starting to wonder, are we in this bubble? Is it at the end? Are we going to see this pop that we saw in 2008 when everything started to collapse down? I would like to share the 3 reasons with you why this is not the housing bubble that we saw in 2008 and why 2022 is much different than what we saw back then. First, the rules pertaining to mortgages are far different than they were back then. In the early 2000s, we had the American dream was that everybody should be a homeowner. So the standards to get a mortgage were far easier and far looser than what they are today. So people who were getting mortgages that were not able to pay them back to begin with. And also, lenders were able to give out high-risk mortgages. And funny thing was, people were able to get mortgages on their stated income, simply saying that I make this much money, and the banks would believe you. But today, lenders have much stricter rules, which require them to vet the information that's provided to them. So therefore, the loans that are being written today are a lot less riskier to the banks. Therefore, the home buyers are a lot less risk of going into foreclosure because the banks have done more due diligence to make sure that they're worthy of the loan. Secondly, in the last couple of years, home prices have gone up considerably. So if we do have a homeowner who is distressed for any reason and potentially facing foreclosure, they have this option of selling the home. That was something that we didn't have in 2008 because of those high-risk mortgages that they didn't have equity in the homes. Now, because of the rise in the price of homes we've seen, these homeowners have equity. So if a homeowner has any kind of hardship, they can simply sell their house and walk away with money at the table, leaving them the option to avoid the foreclosure. And the third point I would like to make is kind of more localized to Meade and Hardin counties, and that is housing inventory. Housing inventory is just how many homes do we have available for people to buy and live in. As you all know, there's just not a lot of it going on. And this problem is not going to get any better. In fact, it's going to get far worse, because up in Brandenburg, we have a company called Nucor who's actively building a steel factory. And down in Glendale, we have Ford who's going to be building the Blue Oval factory. Between these two companies, they have a market capitalization of $100 billion. So these are big companies bringing in high dollar jobs. So tens of thousands of high dollar jobs just to work at those two companies. Then we're going to need more schools, more grocery stores, more gas stations, more. You can figure out all those other secondary jobs that are going to be created just from those two factories alone. But where are all the people going to live that are going to work these jobs? Not just the factories, but all the secondary jobs. And these factories are going to bring in high value jobs. So let's go back to our high school economics class with Ms. Johnson, where she talked about supply and demand. We have a very low supply of houses, and we have a big demand from high paying employees at these factories. So I'll let you figure out what is going to happen with housing prices as these factories get completed and these workers start showing up. Do you think it's going to be a bubble, or do you think it's going to be more growth in our local community? If you're thinking about becoming a real estate investor and own some rental properties, now might be the time to get into that, as the rate of rentals will probably go up as the housing inventory continues to go down and more people start moving into the area to occupy these jobs. So positioning yourself now is probably a good idea. Speaking of renters, if you are one, now might be the time to become the homeowner. As we all know, rental rates seem to always just keep going up, no matter what you do. And I'll let you decide, are they going to get up even worse once these high-paid workers start showing up? But if you can get yourself into a fixed-rate mortgage, you can lock in your monthly payment so that it doesn't go up once they do arrive, making it a perfect opportunity for you to also start gaining equity and wealth as a homeowner. If you need help navigating the housing market, be sure to call so that we can discuss your unique housing needs.